Good, YouTube? We got Young Thug finally responding to Gunna. Gunna Tello. Gunna, the one who said YSL must end. But I think Young Thug ain't allowed to actually speak on Gunna directly. I think it's within his provision for being released that he not allowed to speak on that boy. Like, he can't do it. We gonna get into this reaction because I want to know what Young Thug actually said to him. Let's get into it, y'all.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy BREAD Fox reporting from the Chigs universe. And this man, Young Thug, has finally broken his silence. Yes, I know you guys are talking about, what the heck are you talking about? He broke his silence. He's been speaking on a different array of things here and there. No. This is what I'm talking about. So, for those of you who have been paying attention, you notice that ever since this Young Thug trial came out, everybody has been speculating like, yo, Gunna snitch, Gunna snitch, Gunna snitch, Gunna didn't snitch, Gunna didn't snitch, Gunna didn't snitch, Gunna snitched, but maybe he didn't snitch. So everybody's been speculating. Everybody's also been speculating about the nature of Young Thug's relationship as well as Gunna's relationship. There's been little subtle things from here and there. Like, if you guys remember, Dirk did the interview where he pretty much kind of made it known when he was doing an interview with academics that maybe Thug and Gunna is not really seeing eye to eye. Baby has been sending little shots here and there about whether or not Gunna and Thug have been seeing eye to eye, but it was never really addressed directly by Thug. Now, Thug's family have come out. Some said that he was on good terms, some said that he wasn't, but it's never really been addressed directly by Thug. When it was addressed directly by Thug, he said that they're on good terms, all this other things, but we all kind of felt like he was only saying that because it didn't want to look like witness intimidation. Now that the case is all wrapped up, however, it seems like there's some things leaking through the cracks. Recently, Young Thug actually commented on a post about Gunna as recently as this morning. Now, what happened was Gunna actually posted a picture of his arm. Now, on that arm, he used to have a YSL tattoo there, and it seems that he covered it up. Now, if anybody knows Thug, anybody knows Spider, he is probably one of the funniest rappers that there is. He always...
Look, before we get into what Gunna actually did, I need y'all to disrespect that like button if you like this type of content, because your boy been going hard. I've been covering everything. I've been going super hard. But I'm going to tell y'all if I actually believe if Gunna read it at the end of this. Let's get back into it, y'all.
Joke. He always got a joke for any type of situation. I remember when he said somebody's album was 7 days, weak, hilarious. So, of course, Thug being Thug, being the person that he is, he decided to chime in probably the funniest way ever. And he posted a comment under the picture and he said, I mean, ... he said it must end, LOL. Now, if you guys don't know what he's referencing, he's actually referencing to Gunna's plea agreement where it was actually leaked that he snitched on Young Thug, allegedly. Now, from what Gunna and his team was saying, anything that he said in that testimony could not be used against Thug, so therefore it wasn't snitching. However, in the testimony, he did confirm that YSL was not only a label, but also a gang, and he did say those words, that YSL must end. Funny enough, for those of you who don't remember, I'm going to bring you back to the past a little bit, and I'm going to play the clip of Gunna allegedly reading out his plea agreement, which some consider to be snitching, some consider to not be snitching.
I became affiliated with YSL around 2016. Is that true as it pertains to you, Mr. Kitchens?
Yes, ma'am.
YSL
Yes,
is a
ma'am.
music label and a gang, and you have personal knowledge that members or associates of YSL have committed crimes in furtherance of the gang.
Yes, ma'am.
You were present when law enforcement officers stopped the vehicle in which you were present along with Jeffrey Williams, wherein hydrocodone, methamphetamines, and a firearm were recovered. These items did not belong to you.
Yes, ma'am.
And do you acknowledge the following statement? I recognize, accept, and deeply regret that my talent and music indirectly furthered YSL the gang to the detriment of my community. YSL as a gang must end. Is that your statement or acknowledgement?
Yes.
I became a...
So you admit that the firearms was with you in the vehicle on this day?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Do
sir.
you admit? Do you Do you admit that your rap career funded a criminal organization?
Yes.
Yes, it did.
Yes, sir.
Can I go home now?
Now, after that came out, of course, everybody was going crazy. There was a bunch of things being said. Everybody was calling Gunna a snitch. And then Gunna's team came out to clarify, basically putting out statements via lawyers and via lawyer influencers to kind of clear the air. At the end of the day, we all have our own opinions, and who am I to tell somebody they snitched or they didn't snitch? I'm going to go based off the person who was allegedly snitched or wasn't snitched on. And from what it looks like to me, it seems like Thug is seeming like he feels as though he was snitched on, and he feels as though somebody over there is a rat. Now, at the end of the day, that's just what it seems like.
Yeah, and this right here is actually from Gunna when he was on Crime Stoppers. So before Gunna was a rapper, he was on Crime Stoppers actually trying to clean up his community and stop people from being a part of gangs and stuff like that. And then he ended up on YSL, where he was actually a part of a gang, YSL, and I believe Gunna is a Blood, if I'm not mistaken, either the Blood or a Crip, one or the other. But he's also like more of the player type. I believe he was actually being extorted by a couple people, and I don't think he was ever like that. Anybody who knows Gunna will tell you that Gunna was never like that. So when it comes down to it, did Gunna snitch? Yes, Gunna did snitch, in my opinion. Not even in my opinion, just he snitched. Young Thug was fighting a Rico, and the whole thing about a Rico is the state's going to bring charges against you saying that your organization is actually a gang or a criminal organization that's a front for a legal business. And through that legal business, you're actually doing illicit and criminal activity. So when they bring a Rico against you, like the same thing Diddy's going through, they're trying to say Bad Boy is not just a record label. He's actually doing illegal activity as a front through Bad Boy. And now this is a Rico because it's a criminal organization. So when the state was bringing these charges against Young Thug, they were trying to prove that YSL was not a record label. It was actually a criminal organization that was a front where illegal things were being funneled through YSL to support their gang activity on a street level. So with Gunna getting on the stand and actually saying that YSL is a gang and YSL must be stopped, it helped the prosecution in determining that YSL is a gang, which is the whole point of a Rico. The whole point of a Rico, as we just said, is to prove that you're actually not a legitimate business, that you actually are a gang that is being portrayed as a legitimate business. And with Gunna saying, no, YSL is a gang and it must be stopped, you're actually doing what the prosecution needs you to do to show that this Rico is a valid Rico and Young Thug should be locked up for borderline the rest of his life. So yes, Gunna did snitch on Young Thug. He snitched on everybody in YSL. And he actually tried to get everybody in YSL arrested. That's just what happened. I'm not against Gunna. Honestly, I just look at him as a kid who was in over his head. He got caught up in the streets, the street life. He wanted to be a rapper. He should have stayed this kid right here and stayed on the porch and not got himself wrapped up with Crips, Bloods, or YSL, because then he got himself in a real situation and he turned back into this kid right here who just wanted to go home. That's just what happened. I'm not taking sides. Free Young Thug. Now he's free, and Young Thug does have the right to say this guy snitched on me once he comes home. He has the right to do that because Gunna chose to snitch on him. And the wild part is, it's almost like CB4. Young Thug ended up beating the charges, so now, yeah, he gets to say you snitched on me, bro. That's just how it goes. All right, so y'all drop it in the comments. Let me know. Young Thug, he getting his stuff off by saying, you know, well, he did say YSL must end. That's what you said. So he ended it, I guess, by covering up the tattoo. He's not a part of YSL no more. We don't got a cap about that. We don't got a cap about, oh no, Gunna knows that Young Thug actually cool with him. No, he not. That's why he covered up the tattoo. Them two things can't be true. All right. It is what it is. It's a lot of rats in hip hop at this point. And Gunna was actually trying to get the guy who put him on indicted and arrested potentially for the rest of his life if the prosecution would have had their way. All right, so y'all drop it in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about this. Young Thug speaks out. Gunna, do y'all think Gunna is a rat? Do you think he snitched in this situation? All right, if ain't nobody told you they love y'all, I love y'all. I need y'all to disrespect that like button. I'm out, y'all. This is messy.